Do you have acne? Are you acne prone? Closed comedones, texture, whiteheads, blackheads? You just feel like you can't seem to get your skin smooth? I'm going to tell you 2 ingredients you can be adding to your skincare routine to take it to the next level. But if you have dry skin, could be a little tricky. Hi, I'm MJ and welcome to my channel, Balanced Beauty Lover. I am a licensed esthetician, certified acne skincare specialist. Focus very heavily on hyperpigmentation here in the Los Angeles area. And welcome to episode 3 of the BBL Daily Skin Fix, where I take your comments and your questions that I get from Balanced Beauty Lovers, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, email, and then I bring them over here with answers Monday through Friday. If you have a question or comment that you want featured in an upcoming episode, make sure you leave a comment below. Today's question comes from @TheseKidsWild on TikTok. I use Mandelic acid serum 2 times a week but have normal to dry skin. So what would be the best way to add salicylic acid to my routine? So there are several ways that you can add salicylic acid into your skincare routine, but the main thing to keep in mind is that you have dry skin. And for dry skin, salicylic acid isn't always the best. Even though I'm not a fan of using salicylic acid for dry skin, actually azelaic acid is better, but that's a whole different YouTube video. It is great if you have oily skin and oily acne prone skin. And honestly, I find it to be a much less irritating treatment than using benzoyl peroxide if you have inflamed acne. Because even though it's not always the greatest for dry skin, when you start to integrate salicylic acid and mandelic acid and just really AHAs and BHAs overall into your skincare routine, and they can actually help to improve texture, moisture in the skin, and just overall health of the skin if you use it the right way. And the best way to understand how to use it is to know what they are, how they work together, and I'm going to give you 2 methods for how you can integrate it into your skincare routine. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're somebody who's allergic to aspirin, I would caution against using salicylic acid. Aspirin is a salicylate and they both come from the same family. However, we do normally consider salicylic acid as a BHA, otherwise known as beta-hydroxy acid, but in all actuality, it's a keratolytic agent. Now, these are acids that disrupt the sticky protein that binds keratinocytes together. And when you think about your skin, you have the epidermal layer. It's the very top layer of the 3 layers of your skin. Now, there's 5 layers in that. The bottom layer is the basal layer, and keratinocytes are cells within the epidermis, and that's where they develop. They go through multiple stages to get to the top layer of your skin, your stratum corneum, where they become dead skin cells and essentially become corneocytes. So what salicylic acid does is it exfoliates and then it breaks down the outer layer of the skin to loosen dry, scaly, and thick skin, which makes it a great treatment for things like dandruff and psoriasis, warts, calluses, keratosis pilaris. It also is anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, is lipophilic, which means it's oil soluble, so it's going to be breaking down the oil deep into the pore to help treat acne, whiteheads, and blackheads. Mandelic acid, on the other hand, is an AHA or an alpha hydroxy acid, but unlike its sister wives, glycolic and lactic acid, it has the largest molecular weight. So it goes glycolic, lactic, malic, which you don't really see in a whole lot of products because it gets to be a little funky to deal with, but then mandelic acid. So it takes longer to penetrate the skin, which makes it a really great option if you have sensitive or dry skin. It's lipophilic like salicylic acid, so it can treat acne, unclog pores, help break down some of the oil in blackheads, closed comedones. It's anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and it helps to reduce fine lines and wrinkles for anti-aging qualities. Even better, it helps to fade hyperpigmentation. And even though I'm not a huge fan of using salicylic acid and mandelic acid consistently on dry skin, they do work really well together. Mandelic acid is exfoliating those dead skin cells while salicylic acid is getting like deep down in the pores. And using them in combination to treat acne and hyperpigmentation is really comparable to glycolic acid. There was a study that was done where they took a 35% glycolic acid peel and they compared it to a 20% salicylic, 10% mandelic acid peel. And interestingly enough, the salicylic mandelic acid peel performed better by like 4% when treating inflammatory acne and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So that just lets you know it's very synergistic. They can work really well together. You just have to be careful with salicylic acid if you have dry skin because it can be very drying. So you really want to use it in like low concentrations. If you want to know more about how you can add salicylic and mandelic acid into your routine for multiple skin types or just really treat acne and fade hyperpigmentation overall, you can download my book, Heal, Fade, Glow. You can find a link in the description. But here's how you're going to integrate these 2 ingredients into your routine. And because you have dry skin, I'm going to give you a couple of different options to try. The first first is going to be adding them on the same day, but 2 different routines. Salicylic acid in the morning and Mandelic acid at night. I'm going to recommend more of a toner in the morning just because it's lightweight and easier to control. You don't want to add it as a cleanser because it's just going to dry you out and setting you up for failure for the rest of your routine. And then just save your serums, as serums are going to actually hydrate your skin and really support your skin barrier. For your toner, go with something that's going to have a lower concentration, like Face Reality Sal-C toner. It only has 0.5% salicylic acid, willow bark, L-ascorbic acid, so you're getting your antioxidants, and that way you can support it with like a really nice peptide serum to go on top of that to help to support your skin barrier and add in more hydration into your skin because the salicylic acid could be drying. Option number 2 would be using something that has both ingredients formulated in the product. Now, this would be my favorite approach. I think that this makes so much more sense if you have dry skin because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about changing up your routine, going through the process of figuring out what you layer, when you layer it, what day are you using it. It's just all right there. And the only thing that you're changing is the product that you're using when you are exfoliating with your Mandelic acid. Now, what makes this even better is that usually you're going to find formulations that have a lower concentration of salicylic acid, like this Cheer Up toner from Geek and Gorgeous. It only has 1% salicylic acid and 5% Mandelic acid. It works really well as a gentle exfoliant. And if you're somebody who's been dealing with like fungal acne, it works well as a fungal acne treatment because Mandelic acid has some antifungal qualities. You can support that treatment with something like this. Try either one of those approaches and see what works best for you. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Daily Skin Fix. If you want to talk about skincare, if you have a comment, a question, concern, then let's have a conversation in the comments, or you might be featured on an upcoming episode of Daily Skin Fix. You can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, sign up for my email list, slide into my DMs. I can talk about it there too. I like to talk about skincare all the time. If you like content like this, then subscribe to my channel, like my content, let the people know so we can keep this party going. I will see you next time.